let's go and take a look here. First off, who is the worst charlatan in the industry you're willing to name drop? Ooh.
Luckily, we could just rewind the fucking video about 10 seconds or something. Couldn't we have just answered that one already? You've done that for you, mate.
I was going to say.
There's one for you.
No, hang on. Like,
let's see. Let's get some. We have to go this has to be historical. I have to go really put it this way. Let me think. A big one all time would be someone like, I don't know, Angel Munoz or someone. These are there's some heavy hitters in history. Come on,
he popped up in a news story again recently, if you can fucking believe it, where it was another. I know Steve Loonans from back in the day, but he's always had a mad fascination with Angel Munoz, and he did another interview with him again where he's like, "Hey everyone, it's the Godfather of esports. The only way he's the fucking Godfather is he's the head of a fucking criminal enterprise or fucking CPL that still owes people money, you mad cunt." He was like, that documentary he was in, Frag or whatever it was called. He was like, you can't even have the cameras around the new extension I've built on my house. Like, the optics of that are terrible. Yes. This guy's notorious as fuck. He cashed out at the first sign of trouble as well, probably kicking himself.
Oh, for sure.
For doing it.
He wished he'd played the long con, Rich. He played. He fleeced everyone initially and got out, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but in that sense, he's not a charlatan, and he's not even in the industry anymore. He's more like a fucking, one of them like folk tales you tell kids so they do the homework or whatever. If you don't, Angel Munoz will come and bankrupt your esports org. It's one of them. So he doesn't count. I've always said Weldon Green, always had a soft spot for him.
It's a classic, sure. I mean, I will say,
but ultimately, the scale of what he does, it's only personal enrichment.
Exactly. Bobby Kotick.
He can't do that much damage. That's the thing.
Bobby Kotick, is he in the? Is his name in the hat?
Is he a charlatan about esports? Because he never talks about esports. He doesn't know what it is. As I've famously told from my sources at Blizzard, when he saw the first build of Overwatch, he turned around with money in a suit made of money and just said, "That's great. When can I play it on mobile?" He just wanted to,
there you go.
Just print the cash. So no, Bobby Kotick's not a charlatan about esports. I bet he
Nicola Nyholm.
What the fuck it is.
All right, how are you about that?
Sure.
We're starting to get warmer. Good old Nicken and Nyholm.
It's not even him.
So how are we getting bigger then? What scale would the person have to be on to be this level of charlatan, though, Richard?
I know it's hard, isn't it? You see, the
that's
thing
why
is,
I think
the show's going to end. The show's going to end, and I'm gonna. It's going to come at me like a bolt out the blue.
So not OWL, someone at Riot maybe, someone at Blizzard, someone at ESL.
I mean...
The old... Fuck! Anyway, sorry, I've got cold at the moment. Not him, Richard.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The motherfuckers that went out and sold those Overwatch League slots are they are literally like the fucking 1800s.
I mean, that was actually.
I almost respect the hustle, though, Richard. I almost respect the hustle, though.
By the way,
that was I do too. Like whenever I see in a western where the guy goes, and come over here, fella. What's wrong with you? You got a bad back? And he goes, I haven't been able to walk. Drink some of this tonic, and he Fartwell's old piss tonic water, and he drinks it, and then he goes, sipping it, dude, my backs, and he clicks his heels, and then it turns out those two know each other and go from town to town grifting everyone. That's the shit that was going on there, basically, because obviously they had a couple of owners involved as well that were going, I'm totally coming in. Robert Kraft got all the fucking benefits. I don't mean when he visited that massage parlor. He got all the benefits of basically being the first name that they put down.
Are you familiar? Are you guys? This is a very American concept. Are you guys familiar with the concept of the medicine show, which comes from that era?
Yes. I mean, by the way, it's in the classic film Pete's Dragon, is it? Doing this where to get you come along and the guy comes along, it's a setup, he's a plant, and he goes, I can't walk, and then he drinks the medicine. Oh my god, that happened. It's the snake oil,
But it was also, the medicine show was like traveling bands, so they would have musical artists and entertainment acts that would go along with like the wagons full of snake oil. So while they were selling the snake oil, it would be like they get people there by saying, here's some live music and live entertainment for you, in addition to the plants in the crowd and everything like
a
that.
carnival type scenario.
It was a whole thing, dude. It was a whole thing in the West, in America. So in a way, esports has been used as a medicine show too, which is like, here's the entertainment, please give me money. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Dave, well, you know what? Like sometimes you do have to stick with the grits. It has to be Riot Light.
Oh, for sure. Not least because
now I know he's not active in the industry, but his legacy.
Oh, his influence is enormous. Yeah, of course. By the way, I would even say League was the first game I ever saw that whole thing of like the dystopia of like, and I will make you a better person by re-educating. Like everyone does that. All the games believe in that now. In fact, it's literally a given. You can't even question in the bloody industry.
You know what I don't understand is that why these people who want to change the world just don't go into politics instead of just trying to use entertainment.
Richard's got the line for you here. Come on. I'm not going to say the joke.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you why they don't, because they can't. But they want to, and and what you'll find with a lot of these, sleazy, socially mobile grifters and hustlers is that they do want to be in politics, but what they want to do is they realize the road you walk has to be, I have to dominate this little subculture here. I have to bend them to my will, get to the top of that, then I go to the next thing, and then I go there, and you eventually translate that into look at all the cultural capital I built, look at all of this over here, and then you get to be in politics. If you know how to shake the right hands and grease the right palms. I have no doubt, by the way, that if Light could be in politics, and let's be clear, he left under a cloud of weirdness from League of Legends following allegations of all sorts of behavior, a story I investigated myself, and I'll tell some funny anecdotes about it now. Statute of limitations is there. So, but, he then went to Facebook. I think he still works at Facebook now, this unbelievably powerful tech company. And so where do you think he goes next? Understand Light's story. That's what makes it so compelling. I know this from interviewing all of the women that he had weird, fucked up relationships with, because I wanted to write the definitive story. But nobody, and I mean nobody, would publish it. What was bizarre is that for the average person, if you have a weird relationship with your significant other and they don't like you and they want to say something bad about you, games journalists usually run to you, holding
love that
please, talk into the dictaphone. They would love it if they could find an ex from me who went, Richard Lewis was shit in bed, selfish lover. He was, he was negative to me all the time.
Like to be pissed on.
Yeah, well, I have to work in esports, Duncan. I
have my queries about that, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, but for some reason it was just completely out of the purview of all of these publications. I sent the story to other mainstream publications when my publication wouldn't run it. I consulted with like lawyers. I was saying, why this isn't? None of this is like libelous or slander. Why won't people publish it? They were like, we don't know. The masthead should protect you for that. I don't think you'd be liable. That'd be very hard to prove a defamation case. No one wanted to touch this story. Anyway, the anecdote is within that story, I interviewed, one of the women, and he confided a lot in her. I think it was the one where he said, "At Riot, I am Obama, and you must be my Michelle." That's a true quote. But anyway,
that's a fucking line and a half. Come on,
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Right?
Come on, this man had lines.
Right. Oh yeah. So anyway, she basically said that over the course of the relationship they were in, he had said he'd had all these horrible experiences. Which, by the way, I don't find this funny or anything, but he'd had lots of horrible experiences with being bullied at school. And in high school, and it was like really traumatic emotional bullying,
Sure.
And so she told me that this had had a really profound impact on him, and he felt very passionate about shutting down anything he considered to be bullying. Yes. But somewhere in all of that, when he got signed up to Riot and essentially had this blank canvas, Mark Merrill and Brandon Beck basically said to him, like, you will build all of the behavior structures in our game. He just went fucking power crazy because it was the old adage of the nerd bully had risen to being in complete control over a bunch of people who were just literally at his mercy. Yes. Like, you remember how he would just turn up in a fucking Reddit thread. It's mad how people forget things. They go, Richard Lewis arguing with people on Twitter is so unprofessional. Riot Light used to literally take people's chat logs from a game, jump into a Reddit thread and post a fucking comment going, you were banned because you said this on this date at this time. Pwned, fucker. And everyone would go, oh, what? Shit down. That gif over and over again. They were called light smites, they were, right? Like, that's what they even called them. They even had a name on the subreddit. By the way, the moderators thought that was all perfectly acceptable. Probably a violation of GDPR these days, but who fucking knows?
Certainly, yeah.
It was pre-GDPR, so whatever. So he used to do that because of his ego and his hubris. And so anyway, he basically he was now trying to stop all of the bullying. He considered if you called someone shit and flamed them in a game and walked it down mid and griefed them and told them to uninstall or added them after a game and insulted them, he considered that to be bullying. And so he was going out to schools. There's still articles out there quoting it where he would say the game is a conduit to make you a better person. We're going to teach you that. We're going to teach you bullying is wrong.
The game is a conduit to the necroverse. You will be initiated. Like, fucking hell. No. By the way, my analogy for him is this. It's just the Devils of Ludon, if you know the reference to the classic 70s movie, right? This was a guy where, of course, if you know, basically Richard has to allude to it, but you can already fucking put the pieces together, can't you? You can see the missing piece in the jigsaw, right? This is a guy where no wonder he saw every single tiny flaw of someone else as like a sign of like deep-rooted degeneracy and like evil intent and toxicity, because look at his own life. He imagined himself a good guy who'd been through these experiences, and so what he thought was, a thief thinks everyone steals. Well, if I'm like that and I'm fucked up, but I want to be the good guy, all these people are I'm gonna root them out everywhere I find it. And this guy could just find people everywhere. So if people don't know the analogy, the Devils lived on were these people where they were like a convent of nuns, and basically this one like radical preacher essentially just had too much male charisma, and these women, because they were all locked away, again, this is a fictional work, it's based on history and theory. The idea was, because they were nuns, and in theory they've repressed all their sexuality, the notions of the idea that this man was like represented male sexuality and virility were making them essentially be them in their minds. They were the most degenerate people. They were imagining satanic orgies and him also, and essentially that's why essentially they projected it all onto this person, and they have to kill him. That's the only way they can resolve the issue. In the same way as Riot Light had to ban you for going, I'm not playing next time if you run it down. He goes, get this guy the fuck out! Like,
this is why.
And then he turns to Michelle.
That movie.
Listen, it's a great fucking movie. And also, by the way, straight fire performance by the lead actor, Oliver, whatever his name is. What's his name? The classic British actor.
Olivier.
No. Fuck, what's his name?
Fuck. I know what you mean. Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, there you go. Yeah. I wish I was.
Don't know why I went to Olivier.
Listen, if I could bring him back to play me in a movie, listen, my life would look a lot better. I'll tell you that right now.
He did it in that. There's a similar film that it's a werewolf one. I think is it Shadow of the Werewolf or Curse of the Werewolf? Where basically it's all just about him being a fucking Curse of the Werewolf. It is. It's all about him just being a sex beast. And it's all a metaphor for like male, virility and potency and all this. He was what a fucking lad he was. What a top boy.
By the way, just an aside about Oliver Reed, his death is so incredibly epic. Because like, I don't know if you guys remember, but he played Marcus Aurelius in Gladiator, right? And he died in the middle of filming because he drank like so much alcohol in a drinking match against a group of British sailors that he just collapsed and died.
And by the way, that is literally how he would have wanted to go out, I tell you right now. By the way, that's like a Hunter S. Thompson one. That's just like, listen, I'd love to say, kids, listen, salute, and I fucking see you in the afterlife, brother.
Yeah, I just love that he was playing his character was Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, his character's amazing in that movie. But it's he wasn't Marcus Aurelius. You've got it wrong. He wasn't Marcus Aurelius. He was the guy who was the circus guy. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor, remember?
Oh yeah, he played the guy Harris the Gladiator school.
Yeah, Richard Harris was Marcus Aurelius. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
But you are right. It was that movie. Yeah. It was a brilliant role.
But anyway, like the added extra detail to his death, which is brilliant, is not only was he getting smashed with these sailors, he was also arm wrestling and putting all his additional
and he's like 60 or something.
On his heart, right? Chronic alcoholic. But then when they were interviewed, right, when he died, because he just had a heart attack, and it was one of them where it was like just the fatal four-way, and he's out you go, all the arteries, right? They said we just thought he blacked out drunk and we didn't want to wake him up, so he was just
let him sleep it off.
Literally, no, but apparently they were saying like fucking anything to get out of buying around, you drunk cunt, and they were like heckling his corpse. Brilliant. He would have loved that. That's how I want to go for sure as well. Like, that's people heckling my corpse.
Remember. All right.